So hello everyone, my name is Krisztián Hefinger and I'm a cloud solution architect at DTITS. I'm an Azure architect since 10 years now, and I'm an AI practitioner since 2020. And today we are gonna talk about the AI agents, and I try to make this beginner friendly as well. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to post it into the chat, and at the end of the session, I will try to answer all of these. So let's start with some definitions. What is an AI agent? Because you can hear that in a lot of context, and sometimes it's just confusing that it has so many meanings. So first of all, the original definition is AI agents are autonomous systems designed to perceive their environment, process information, and take actions to achieve specific goals. That's quite an interesting definition, but if you try to apply it to nowadays, so the current reality, most of the commercial interpretation that AI agents are chatbot-like assistants. So basically, a personal virtual assistant which you can utilize with chat to resolve some issues for you. My interpretation is a little bit broader. I mean, this commercial interpretation is not false, but it's just a bit narrow. So I would say that AI agents are basically prompt instructed automation methods. And as you can interpret it, basically, you use AI agents to automate activities, and you are not writing code to do that like with normal traditional automations, but instead you are just writing prompts in order to automate your specific task. Nowadays, you can find a lot of tools that can do specific task automation for you. For example, you can use Microsoft's Copilot or Anthropic's Claude or GitHub Copilot, which are generic AI agents, I would say, because they can cover a lot of activities. But of course, there's a lot of different and specific AI agents on the market as well. Some of them could even run on your phone, which basically just focusing on a narrow field, like doing your time schedule or helping you to organize your tax refunds or whatsoever. So there's a lot of smaller specific AI agents on the field that can help you. And of course, there are bigger, I would say, broader AI agents as well, just like these on the screen, which can help you to automate much broader activities as well. But of course, we are still talking about user level automation. So when you want to automate a task for yourself, an AI agent is not just about this, but of course, it can have an enterprise level solution as well. But let's go into a bit more detail to see that how an AI agent looks like in practice. And if you can see from right to left, it consists of three main blocks. And the first one is a UI. So I don't believe that I need to provide much explanation over here. You can communicate with your agent in a written or verbal form, like you can talk to Alexa, you can write a question to ChatGPT. All of these things are basically just a UI that you can utilize to talk to the agent. The second step is the second component, or the heart of the solution, is basically a large language model that is capable to understand the user input and to resolve the problem actually. And for the large language model, of course, you can have a lot of paid or customer solutions that is already there. I mentioned ChatGPT, I mentioned a lot of other models basically in previously. So you can utilize any kind of hosted models, or of course you can host your own models as well. So for example, like Microsoft's fee, or any kind of other I wanted to mention a few ones so fast that I forget all of them, but basically there's a lot of open source models as well in the market that you can utilize for the same activity if you want to build an AI agent for yourself. And what is common with all of them is that you can use external knowledge to update the model's knowledge. So you can create any of documentation describing in a natural human language that what kind of rules you want the model to follow, and these external knowledges can be imported basically into the large language model with the help of RAG, which is retrieved augmented generation. So it's a separate technology how to use external knowledge. And you can do that on your own PC. So you don't need to retrain the model. You don't need to have expensive hardware in order to expand the large language model's knowledge. You can use basically cheap, compute-wise cheap technologies to add your own specific skills into the large language model. Okay, the next step is the custom instructions. So in other words, those are the system prompts. And I'm not sure if you are familiar with that term, but basically the system prompt is similar to the prompt that you are writing into any kind of large language model, but it's applied on a system level. So by default, for example, ChatGPT's default system prompt is, you are a helpful assistant. And this is controlling the behavior of the large language model. So helpful assistant is not much, but for example, if you're having your own ChatGPT instance, you can use custom system prompts. For example, you are a programming assistant and you are answering only programming related questions. And then if the user is asking for a different topic, like for example, history, then the model will respond that it is basically a programming assistant, so you cannot help you on history-related topics. So these custom instructions, these system prompts, are essentially what controlling the behavior of the model. And if we are talking about an AI agent, which basically programmed or set up for a specific task, these custom instructions are defining how the model can execute that task. And I will detail that a little bit later just to make sure that it is comprehensive, but this is it for now. The last part is the automation. So just like with any other solution, you need to have a code, you need to have some kind of code or a pseudocode that can be utilized to execute basically what the model is creating. So if we go again through the whole chain, you can see that the user is giving instructions through the UI, like for example, create a new PowerPoint presentation for me about a specific topic. The next step would be the large language model, which understands the task that it has to create a presentation, creates, for example, that, okay, it will be about 10 pages and the page's content will be this and that. It can obtain information from external knowledge. For example, it can go for the internet to search for data, or it can utilize any kind of documentation to get information from. And we are controlling the whole thing with custom instructions. So we can say that, okay, if the user wants to have a new PowerPoint presentation, then basically it should always contain, let's say, a page which is describing our core values of the company or whatsoever. And then once we have all of that, then we need the automation layer to execute, because the model itself cannot create the presentation for you. Obviously, it does not have access for your hard drive to save the presentation, or your PowerPoint to populate the slides, or whatsoever. So that's why we need to have a code wrapper, basically a code that can execute all of the steps which previously the large language model is designing for us. This is about how basically any kind of AI model is processing our queries, and that's specifically working well for the AI agents. So whenever we are asking for an activity, then the AI agent will automatically try to break down the activity into smaller tasks. And those smaller tasks can be executed much better, basically, because you can execute them more detailed and in a much better shape than if you just try to execute it once. And that is basically coming from our prompt engineering method, but you can use as well if you are just trying to communicate or execute a task with ChatGPT or any kind of other large language models. And this is because this is how to decompose your task into smaller steps. I will provide some examples on the next steps, but basically whenever you are just working with a large language model or with a virtual assistant or whatsoever, if you are giving out a big task, it will automatically break down into smaller, more tangible subtasks that can be executed more easily by the model. And then, of course, this normal code or the pseudocode will be responsible to get all of the results, aggregate them, merge them together, and then execute. So what are we talking about? Because it might be a bit confusing, but if you see an example, I hope that it will be more clear. In this example, we have a ticketing agent, so an AI agent that is only focusing on resolving customer incident tickets. And if you see from the left side, the external interfaces are there for the ticketing system and for the mail connector, so it's capable to read tickets and to send out and receive emails. And we need to have some kind of automation, which is checking out for the new tickets or checking for the emails. And whenever it receives a new ticket, then basically we don't have a UI in this example, but this considered to be the so-called UI at the ticket example, because you will receive a new ticket. So you will receive information, and then you need to process that information. So tickets coming into the system can be, in a various states. So they might miss information, they might be duplicates, they might need to be clarified before connection. And whatever a ticketing agent is doing, it's called triage. So basically checking if all the information is given in the ticket, if the ticket is valid, or if some information is missing, then it's gathering that information before dispatching to the actual group. And in order to do that, of course, we can ask with a single prompt that, okay, validate if this ticket is good or bad, and you need to have you have these conditions to be checked in order to make sure that the ticket is right. Instead of that, we will have different custom instructions, for example, 3 of them, which will be executed against the contents of the ticket. For example, you need to validate if the ticket is right. That means that the large language model will check the ticket data and get that knowledge, which is essentially the similar knowledge, just like what you are sharing with your fellow coworkers who are working on the help desk. So you have minimum required data, you have an assignment matrix, you have all of this information in a humanly readable format, like a doc file, a PDF file, or Excel sheets. And then the large language model can access that data, get the proper information, and validate the ticket against it. It has all the information, then, if there's any information is missing, then it can attempt to gather it. For example, it can send an email to the customer or to the people who raised the ticket, saying that, okay, missing information is there and you need to supply this and that according to this knowledge, what is gathering from the customer handbooks and stuff like. And if all the information is gathered, then it can be assigned to the proper group, yet again with the help of the normal programming automation, which can provide the interface to the ticketing system to dispatch a ticket to the proper group. Now, that means that we will have at least 3 different system prompts. And whenever a ticket is coming in, we need to validate the ticket information, so the data from the ticket, first of all, with the validation prompt, which is describing that you are a ticketing agent. You need to make sure that the information is given for you from that given document. And if all information is okay, then you can pass to another agent, which is the reassigning agent. If the ticket is missing some information, then dispatch it to the gathering agent to gather the missing data. And if the ticket is fine, yet again, go for the reassigning agent. So in this example, you can see 3 agents, basically. One of them is validating the content, the other is gathering missing data, and the third one is reassigning the tickets to the proper group. And basically, we don't have 3 agents, so we don't have 3 separate containers or applications or whatsoever. We have one application to execute all of these, but with 3 different set of instructions. That means we have 3 agents, 3 AI agents, but in the reality, they all reside in the same code, they all reside in the same application, the same container, whatever you want to call it. So this is how the task decomposition works, that you are breaking down the task into smaller steps, and you execute these smaller steps individually. And of course, these AI agents can interact with each other, so they are dispatching data between them. The validator is dispatching to the reassigner, for example. And how they are doing that? With the same text output. You just need to control the format and it will understand it. So let's talk a little bit about how you can utilize an AI agent. So if you want to use one AI agent, first of all, you need to understand that what would be the use case. If you are, as an end user, want to benefit from an AI agent, like a virtual assistant that can automate some of your activity that you are regularly doing for yourself, then of course you don't need to write an own solution. You can utilize the existing end user solutions like Microsoft's Copilot or Claude or any other chatbot like service. There's a lot of them, so I deliberately did not make a list here, but you can easily find there's a lot of virtual assistants out there, and they are changing from day to day. So it will be absolutely not worth to try to list them all of here, because if you look at that presentation in a 2 weeks time, there's a lot of change will be there. If you want to scale a little bit and you want to have a pipeline that is executing activities automatically, and you're not thinking about one user case, but you are thinking about a multi-user case, then of course you can utilize Azure AI Studio, where you can create those pipelines easily. And in that you can also create, of course, pipelines in a kind of pseudo code. So you don't need to have actual programming language, because you already have the components available there. You just need to configure them in a visual dashboard, pulling together the components and connecting them, and then you are good to go. There's, again, a lot of other solutions there, which is combining RPA together with AI agents. So it's really easy to create those kind of solutions in pseudocode without actual programming knowledge involved, in order to create a long-standing solutions for group level problems or company level problems. And of course, if you want to have an enterprise solution, or you want to have a completely own solution for the problem, then you can take any open or hosted models, you can wrap around code and instructions, and you can create your own AI agent from scratch. But I would suggest really to go with an existing solution first of all, and if it doesn't solve your problem, or you have so high privacy requirements that you cannot do that to use any market solutions, then of course you can create your own, but it will be always more complicated than reusing something that is existing. So I prepared a small demo, which is actually, I created a small UI for it. And the actual use case is, well, it's a little bit foolish. So I would like to ask you not to focus on the use case or the feasibility of the use case, because it's really just for demo purposes on how you can utilize ChatGPT to add a pipeline step, which is good for data cleaning and for a very basic recommendation. And what the actual use case is that we have a dirty, or I would say messy data set, a very small messy data set, which is filled with employee-ish data. So it's not real employee data, but something similar to that. And first step, we will have a cleaner agent. So we want to clean that data to make sure that everything is valid and it can be processed more easily. And the second agent would be a recommender agent, which will take a file where we are describing imaginary positions with requirements, and it will try to compare the actual employee data into the requirements what we have there in that file. And if there's any matches there, then it will try to recommend the actual position for our imaginary employees. And as you can see, for the cleaning, we will use simply ChatGPT and with the instructions, so with the system prompts to clean up the employee data. And for the second step, we will also use ChatGPT, but in that case, we will add external knowledge, the skill profiles, our expectations basically, and we will try to find a match. And for that, we are using Azure AI Search as a retrieval augmented generation device, just to make sure that we will have up-to-date knowledge for the model. And I'm gonna show you very quickly. Just need to switch. So this is the very, very sophisticated interface that I created for that solution. It basically just have an import where we are importing the employee data and then we process it. And this is basically the employee data which I've created. I hope it's somehow visible. This is all generated data, so it's not true, not visible for any kind of name collisions. I'm sorry about it. Really, I just try to generalize the information. And what we have here is a full name, which is sometimes scattered, sometimes upper lowercase. We have an email, which yet again is sometimes just messy. We have a phone number with absolutely different formats. We have a date of birth, sometimes, just with human language, sometimes with a proper format. We have an address that doesn't relevant, and we have the skills. So basically we have skills, which is describing in a human language in a very short term that, okay, what the actual people possesses or not, and a salary range. Yet again, sometimes with a good format, sometimes in an absolutely mess format. And yeah, so it's like a result of a survey, which is filled by the soon-to-be employee. The data is full of mess. You need to clean it up somehow. And this is where the first system prompt comes in, which is saying, I cannot magnify it for some reason, but sorry about that. But I hope you can read it. But the first system prompt, you can see that we are giving a role for the AI agent. So you are an expert in data cleaning and standardization, and your task is to standardize that input, what you got. And we give the details that how do we want to do that and what do we want the agent to execute on. And as you can see, the important part essentially is that this one, the skill set. So we want to extract the actual skills from the text, focusing on database management, programming languages, data analysis tools, and management skills. And we say that disregard any other skills. So we are not interested in anything else. We are just looking for these kind of fields. And when I'm saying programming languages here, I'm not defining any kind of additional conditions. So I'm not defining that the programming languages are Python, C# whatsoever, because the model knows what the programming language is. So I don't need to redefine it again. Only if I want to narrow my search and looking for specific programming languages. But if not, then I can just say that, okay, I'm interested in programming languages, and the model will do the rest of the legwork. For the other fields, I'm just giving instructions. So instead of the normal data cleaning where you need to provide, like regex conditions or whatsoever, you are just saying that, okay, convert the salary to the number. If the salary is in words, convert it into a number. And if you cannot find anything, just drop it. And we're also asking for a validation field, so which can be true or false, which I want to give to the data. And I want to have this as a check mark that, okay, the data is validated, or the data cannot be validated because some fields are just missing. And if I look my demo again, I'm uploading now this data, and I'm just trying to process it. And in the background, what is happening, that is all of that data is being sent to ChatGPT, and then it tries to process and responds. And as you can see, the speed is not great. So if you are having like, I don't know, millions of data or row or something like that, then you can see that, okay, this is too slow. So it's 4 or 5 seconds per row. This is happening because I'm sending the rows one by one. So every row is a new request. But the good news is that if you have 1,000 more fields in any row, then the process speed is the same. So basically you can aggregate rows and send like, I don't know, 100 row in a query, and it will be able to effectively process those. So as you can see, for example, this kind of email, this kind of email representation is pretty common here in Hungary, but it's able to understand how to translate it. The phone number is also converted to the proper format. The 1st of September, it understood that it's the 1st of September. And yeah, skills, blah, blah, blah. I have no experience in virtual machines and infrastructure. If you just do a keyword search, then basically for virtual machines, you will catch this record, and then you will need to understand that, okay, I have no experience. But here, it's automatically filtered out. So it's not represented here because our imaginary candidate have no knowledge or no skills in that field, specific field of area. Same thing here. You can see that there's an accidental white space here, but the model was able to process it properly. Yet again, phone number, date of birth, whatsoever is being processed properly. And then the same thing, cooking, hunting, bash scripting, network management. You can see that those are gone because those are not those are not data or programming related skills. So they are just removed from the list. And the salary is also properly 1, 2, 3, 4, yes, properly formatted. Same goes for our candidate. Unfortunately, the cat loving is not a skill that we are interested in. So basically we have product and project management. And yeah, I hate people, so no people management skills. There's nothing we can use from this profile, so the skills are empty. Now, so that was the first step. We were able to clean up the data, get the details, what is required for us, what is important for us, eliminate all the details which is not that great, and now we can go with the second step. And the second step is having a different system prompt. So the second step is saying that we need to provide a recommendation based on the data that we are receiving for a position. And the positions are these 5 positions. And how to decide if the candidate is good for that positions? Well, we have a skill profiles document. which is a simple PDF uploaded and indexed in the Azure AI search, which is connected to this solution. And that is explaining that, okay, for sales manager, we need to have these kind of skills. For software engineer, we need to have that kind of skills. So we are not putting those requirements into the system prompt because it will be just too lengthy. We are just referring to a document, and then this document is accessible for ChatGPT, so it's able to query the document and set the proper recommendation. And yeah, we also need to explain to the model, if you cannot recommend the position, just respond with no suitable positions found. So let's see how it goes if we trigger the second process. And as you can see, the data is being slowly processed, and we have a recommendation here for software engineer. We don't have a recommendation here for bash scripting and network because, yet again, our selection is data analyst, data scientist, software engineer, product manager, and sales manager. So unfortunately, it's no match for someone with bash scripting and network management. With product management and project management, we can offer a product manager page. With no relevant skills, we unfortunately cannot recommend anything else at all. So basically, this is an example for an AI agent, which is not directly interacting with the user. So it's more like let's say, not an enterprise, or maybe a company grade solution where you can put in data from a pipeline. So you can, for example, have an automation that is collecting all of the new wannabe employees, candidates, sorry, that was the word I'm looking for. So all the candidate data can be collected by that and can be automatically pre-processed, and then recruiters can find the relevant information for that. Of course, yet again, this is just a demo, so for God's sake, please don't believe that this is an actual working solution. I just wanted to illustrate that what the capabilities are, how an AI agent pipeline can be configured. Here we have two AI agents. One of them is cleaning up the data, the other one is providing the recommendations, and they are working together. So you can see that the same information is passed from the first to the second, and then the second can provide additional information on top of that. Of course, this is not something that you can use in a real-life scenario, but it's very good to represent what are the capabilities of this technology. And as you can see, all this data cleaning part and all this recommendation part, it would be very complicated to do it with regular programming technologies, so doing with regex, doing with keyword searches or whatsoever, but it's much easier to do in a large language model dimension. So this is it, and that's all from the demo. And let me share just the final conclusions. I would say that as a conclusion, AI agents give you a lot of potential to automate recurring activities. And that's true. I mean, if you are an end user, so you just want to automate something for you, I don't know, like you receive a report every day and you want something to process it and give you the highlights, it's a great tool for you. If you want to create a company-wide thing to process information and share it with a group, it is also good. That's a lot of use cases there. That's a lot of potential how to use AI agents. And of course, you can scale it very easily. So from end user level to company or enterprise level, you can easily scale your solutions. The other benefit is that for these simple activities, you can automate your things. without having programming knowledge. So if you are an end user who's not a programmer, you still have the opportunity to automate a lot of activities without the need of learning a programming language. But of course, if you want to scale out, so if you want to have a solution which is capable to do complicated, complex things, proper programming knowledge is a must. The additional things are, yeah, prompting skill is still important. So prompt engineering is not a magic for real. It's just a skill that you can easily learn. But it's not about the learning. It's about the experience, the practicing what is important. So you need to practice your prompting skill to make sure that you are creating a good system prompt, what the tool can utilize to execute and automate. And of course, always consider security, because security and privacy are key nowadays. And a lot of solutions which are, let's say, coming from smaller startups or smaller shady companies, they are not really giving you guarantees about your data. Even the big companies sometimes having shady data privacy rules. So you just need to make sure that your data is always secure before start to automate anything at all. And yeah, I try to stay in time, so maybe I rushed a little bit. I think we can go for the questions, if there's any. So which AI agents can we use in the context of the company, compliance-wise? I believe that's for us DT, right? So right now, I believe that Copilot is still not fully approved, but for the next quarter, first quarter of next year, this is what I heard that that will be approved. That's the timeline for that, but I cannot confirm that. You need to refer to the data security team if you want to start with something. I unfortunately don't have this information right now. Okay, is it possible to show an example in Azure AI Studio? You said that it's possible to build some with no code, low code. I'm not prepared for that, unfortunately, right now. So I just prepared for my own demo. But it's basically very self-explanatory. So if you want to take a look on that, it's a very easy learning curve. You will be able to set up something if you know how Azure works. I mean, the different Azure components like storage accounts, APIs. If you have any elementary knowledge, then you can easily put that together. All right. Well, if there's no further questions, then I would like to thank you very much for your attention. I hope this session was informative enough for you. You can find the links here. You will be able to find the recording and on the YouTube channel of Clouders Club. And if you join the beta group or you're already in, then you will get notifications about any future activities, any future presentations or whatsoever. If you have any questions and you were not able to speak up right now, you can send to the organizers or to myself directly, and then we will try to answer it for you. Again, thank you very much for your attention, and have a good rest of the day.